think that's part of the deal.
All right, so
I'm fucking uncomfortable.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Jay.
Don't mind me while I deep throat the microphone.
Oh, baby. We're all up live in this bitch.
Live as a motherfucker!
Anyway, y'all got some serious things going on up in here.
That serious thing that's going on with me right now is I can't fucking get this chair in the right position. It's so uncomfortable.
Oh, it's very uncomfortable.
The studio is tiny, man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Everybody can see how I move so fluidly. Like a dandelion in the wind.
All right, so anyway, welcome to the Jay and Matt show. Basically, this is our very first live podcast going over Facebook Live. And so if you are watching, hello. So anyway, if you are not familiar with us, we actually do these podcasts over SoundCloud. We do it over, pretty much SoundCloud. That's where we do it most of the time.
SoundCloud, because we haven't paid for the upgrade package.
No, we haven't. And
it's like number 5.
And unfortunately, like what we do is usually we play a lot of music from independent artists coming up.
That ain't gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen tonight or today. Anyway, we are live in the beautiful city of Amsterdam. Welcome.
It is a beautiful, actually, man. It's a rare occasion because this is the first time in about a week where there isn't sideways rain just molesting your face and wind constantly changing.
It's ridiculous because also like in the last couple of weeks or the last couple of days, what they said is like, oh yeah, by the way, the weather's gonna be very shitty for the next 2 weeks. There's not gonna be any sun. So it's gonna be very shitty.
It was alright,
shitty.
man. It was alright. My sister's flight got cancelled yesterday. We were just sitting down somewhere for food, and then the flight got cancelled, and then we just ended up fucking, I don't know, it ended up having a nice swell day out in Amsterdam, so it was kind of good in a way.
Oh yeah. So what did you guys end up doing yesterday?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Staring at the walls.
Didn't you pop your cherry?
Yeah, man, I've never done it.
Mentioned?
I've never done any of the tourist stuff here in Amsterdam. I basically just went and looked at shit from my bicycle, just walked around and just never really paid attention. And then for the first time ever, I went on one of those boat canal tours. And it was hot as shit, man. It was really, really hot. And it was weird because the guy was like this old Amsterdam guy. I don't know. He just seemed like he'd been doing it for years. And so basically, like he had this pre-rehearsed line. So he blared this thing, this like fucking, you have the English, the French, the German, like and the Dutch, and then he would add in a few jokes. But it was like he was so rehearsed. He was just like, and this is a building, and he made some kind of terrible joke. And basically it was hot as fuck in there. They turned the air conditioning way up, so your eyes were all dry, and people were just nodding off and being all like, this fucking smelled like farts and happiness. But it was cool. It was cool.
Smells like my house.
Do you ever do that shit? Have you ever been on any kind of tourist things over here?
No, honestly, I have not, because like to me, I don't mind tourists, but I
hate them.
Yeah, I hate them. So basically,
I kill them. I dream about it.
I don't see the point. Like, okay, the last time I did anything touristy here in Amsterdam was maybe in 1997.
1997, I remember it well. It was a cold Wednesday. What did you do?
No, but the thing is, like, my mom also told me, like, what I ended up doing is I fell asleep on the boat ride.
Is that part of the tourist package? Tourist package?
Yeah, so it was part of the tourist package. No, but it's just like the only thing I remember is we were near the water, we were near a canal, and aside from that's all I remember, really.
That just went nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
Like you're telling me about your
I'm a terrible storyteller.
I thought you told me that you fell asleep, so I'm like, okay, what was the deal? What was happening? What kind of excitement were you up to? So I was on a bench and I fell asleep and somebody undressed me.
No, but
in Amsterdam.
What I kind of what I was coming across to earlier was there, how so what's coming up is St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patty's Day!
St. Patty's Day.
Fuck, my liver can't handle that shit. It's actually Sunday, I totally forgot, but like we're doing something on Saturday, aren't we? So
so we're basically, what you explained to me is we're going to a mask party. So basically we have this thing going on, or at least I do. I have this, if you're not familiar with it, the anonymous mask, right?
Yeah.
So this particular mask, like if you see it, what was it, movie again? It was
V is for Vendetta or something. I've never even seen it, man.
V for Vendetta. Basically, it's so we took that mask that you had in your house.
You took the mask, man. You took the mask.
Okay, yeah, I saw the mask a couple times, and I saw this as well. Like when we were playing or just jamming away last weekend, which was a lot of fucking fun, by the way.
Yeah, we were drunk on live, which is not cool, but yeah.
Nah, but it was cool because like we were able to just kind of mess around with it. But again, as you said, like once I put that mask on, I just become a different person, man.
For anybody out there, man, like you gotta know this about Julian. So basically, when he puts that mask on, it was weird. It just hangs there in our room, and when he puts that mask on, he transforms into somebody different. Like he goes dead silent. So he has this creepy mask on, and he's just dead silent. And like I'm like the last week, you put it on, and we just started walking around, and I wasn't like making a fuss or a deal out of it. We were just walking around the streets. And I wasn't being like those like kind of like dickhead teenagers like, hey, we're wearing a mask. I was just like, this guy's wearing a mask beside me, so what? We're just walking through Amsterdam, and then people were looking at you just all like, ah.
Oh, yeah.
But you go all silent. You go all weird and silent. Like it's like you don't say anything, and I can't have a conversation with you because you're just like dead. It really concerned me. It was like really, you turn into a different person, but you also turn into a really good dancer, like a seriously good dancer.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
But you have the mask on though. I don't know what you're like without the mask.
Dude, I just do that Russian dance or like that Irish tap dance. That's my kind of moves.
Are you
man.
practicing? I always wanted like a coffin like one of those Russian doll things. Like I put my coffin inside a bigger coffin inside a bigger coffin. I don't know why I'm here. But anyway, no. But did you practice your dance moves?
No, I actually didn't. Well, actually, no. Okay, so the story behind it is I used to be a extremely terrible dancer. So what happened is I went to a friend's. Well, yeah, that as well. So what I ended up doing is I went to a friend's party. One of my really good friends in the United States, my friend Luis, he's actually from Colombia. But the thing was, like, every time he had a birthday party, anytime he had any kind of party, they would always have music playing. So any of the salsa, reggaeton,
yeah,
or...
they take it seriously, man. There's like a hairdressers near me where they're all like, are you supposed to be cutting hair? And they're all like, and you're like, what? It looks like a lot of fun.
So basically what we ended up doing is every time, like, I went over there, all I used to do is just sit in the corner and basically just eat food. I would stuff
you the
my
fatty
face.
at the party, man.
Yeah, so I was a fatty at the party. Fatty
at the party.
My name is Matty.
Fatty Matty. Thanks very much for bringing up repressed memories. I was a fatty Matty once in my life, but we won't talk about that.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
No, but so what we ended up doing is one of his aunts grabbed me by the hand because she's like, oh, you need to start dancing. And I'm like, I really do not know how to dance. So she taught me how to dance in a way.
Yeah.
And she's like, you got to move your hips. I'm
Wait,
like,
what kind? Was she like slapping your arse and all?
No,
like,
no.
What kind of like dance was she showing you?
Maybe. No. Maybe. So she was basically saying, okay, anytime you dance to music, always move your hips. Because, you know, that it kind of reminded me of like, okay, you know, Shakira, hips don't lie. And apparently my hips lied a lot. Because
you were just a lot of upper body action.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, yeah, it's like, I know how to do the robot, and that's it.
Yeah, I think dancing, like, I don't really take it seriously. I do it, I take the piss, and I can go wild. Like, when I put the mask on as well, I was, like, busting moves, but I don't have the same stamina as you. But basically, like, my ex-girlfriend was giving me, like, shit because she was always like, you gotta dance in a serious way. We would go to a nightclub, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? What's the point in drinking if I can't fucking have fun?
Yeah.
It's really redundant. It's just pointless. It's like I'm poisoning myself just so I can be like, woo, like you have to have a laugh with it. But she would get pissed off with me because I was not making it like serious somehow. I don't know, man.
So basically the way that it was a couple of years ago, I went back to Germany, right?
Yeah.
And there was this one song playing. It was by a French artist named Stromae. Basically. And so it was playing in a club in Germany, in Frankfurt. And it was a party of just filled with nothing but police officers, which to me, it was kind of odd. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get
were they
completely
in uniform?
shit-faced.
Were they wearing uniform?
No. So
well,
basically...
it's time to party.
Hey, don't party too much or we will arrest you.
Latex uniforms. Yeah,
what's the charge, officer? Overly excessive dancing.
They just have instead of guns, they just have dildos sellotape to their hands. It's time to party. But anyway, sorry, go on there.
So basically, the whole story behind it is we started. It was actually my uncle. He's a police officer in Germany. So he took me to his party that he was invited to. He was like, oh yeah, by the way, most of the people that are here are either police officers or friends of police officers. I'm like, okay, no pressure.
Put the drink down.
Yeah, so what I ended up doing is I had like 5 beers or whatever, and then after 5 beers, I started getting out on the dance floor because I'm like, okay, my uncle, he's like 50, 55 approximately. Yeah. He's talking to his buddies. So I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I need to be around people my own age. So I went to the dance floor. I started dancing, and people were like, they're coming up to me. They're like, dude, you're a really good dancer. And then one girl, she's like, you're a good dancer, but you need to be more into the rhythm. I'm like, all right. So what I did is like, I listened to the beat a little bit more. I listened to the rhythm, and then fast forward like 3 years later, here we are, and I'm a good dancer now.
So you're in your bedroom just practicing with the metronome. Click, click.
No.
Click,
Seriously,
click.
what it is, it's just the basis of alcohol. Like, it gives me the courage.
I think we should take a moment to discuss this thing which happened not once but twice. There was a certain Taylor Swift song.
Oh,
what was that song?
It was what is it?
You're
the
like,
haters
what
gonna
was it?
hate, and
yeah. Well,
shake it off. That's what it is.
Apologies to anybody on like last Saturday night, because I saw like two people. I don't even know what the fuck we were doing. There's a couple of different streams, but I saw like two people were watching us, and we were just like jamming out and dancing and doing all kinds of weird shit live on Facebook, and I couldn't even look at it the next day. I was just like, why? But it was fun at the time.
No,
you were doing that dance though. That was.
Hey, listen. When Taylor Swift comes on, when T Swift comes on to the radio, man, I gotta bust out my dance moves. I don't care how white I look. I gotta show up for the white girls out there.
I can't dance. I just put down a twister mat. Right cock, green, whatever, man.
Wait, what?
I'm a talented guy.
Red quarter. Put your dick on there. It's like, what? Dude, what kind of games are you playing, my friend? Is it really Twister? Is it? We never agreed to make a Twister.
Isn't chess just like finger twister? Like that's what I thought you did with it. You just put your fingers on the different pieces
Bop
and
it.
just get it. Bop it, twist it. Yeah, like oh my god, I just have imagine.
What if you had like a combination game of Twister, Bop It, and then charades?
Oh yeah, but you could combine that with a flash lamp or flashlight. Like so it's like bop it, twist it, wank it, pull it.
But why would you
Burn
do
it!
such a thing?
Yeah.
No, so basically, something else I wanted to mention earlier. The reason why I brought up St. Patrick's Day is
Paddy.
because St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah.
So what's the correct pronunciation of it? Because for those of you who don't know, Matthew is from Ireland.
I am from Ireland, yes. And the correct way to pronounce it is first you have to get. You can't say it. You're not going to be able to say it in one breath.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take some time, and be like St. Patrick's, and it has to be in that military style form.
St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, Paddy. It's not Patty with TTY. Actually, you know what? I found out that like I was talking to my flatmate recently, and we got this like we had this production crew filming in the house, so we got paid for them to come into the house and just like basically like climb up. They were filming like a crime series in Amsterdam, so they were climbing all over the roof and doing all this shit, and they filmed in our room, and it was just messy as shit. But anyway, like so our flatmate was like he had to transfer me the cash to pay, because they give like a bunch of cash to everybody who lived there, so I got maybe like €100, and he had to like transfer the cash. And then I had to send him my name, but with a P in the middle, because that's my middle name.
P.
And so he was like, "What does the P stand for?" And I was like, "Patrick." It is actually, but the truth is, man, like, okay, because I have like two middle names, so it's like Matthew, Paul, Patrick.
Yeah.
But basically, I found out that the Patrick was a lie. It was a goddamn lie. It's not legally binding. It doesn't fucking count. My mum just lied. It's like basically like if you're a Catholic, they take you to church and then they throw some holy water over you. And then I had like Patrick as a second name, and I believed that for years. And then I found out on my birth certificate it wasn't real. It was a lie. So I'm not even Irish anymore, man.
You're not Irish? What the fuck is wrong with you?
But yeah. It's Paddy's Day.
Okay, so here's the thing that I want to get back into, is that the majority of the people in the United States, or even in Canada as well, this is what I read in an article. According to the Ottawa Citizen, which is basically like a news article, what they said is that most people say in Canada and in the United States, and this is from experience as well, that they say it's St. Patty's Day with a double T.
Patty.
Yeah,
Patty.
so Patty. And the other thing, what they do is really weird. So everything, what they do, and this is just what I like read from the article.
Yeah.
So what we do on St. Patrick's Day, this is what we always did. Like, it was a huge celebration for us in the United States as well. Like, especially in Florida, every single person used to dress from head to toe in green.
Just everything sucks.
Everything
Underwear.
green. Like, they had the leprechaun top hat,
Willy
and
bombers.
like the orange ginger beard. And there's a couple of other things. Like, what they ended up doing is, you know how when you go to the pub or whatever, like for St. Paddy's Day, you get a pint? And, well, what they ended up doing, and I'm pretty sure they do that here as well in the Netherlands, they don't have regular beer, they have green beer. So like a Guinness.
That's just diarrhea waiting to happen, man. That's just nasty.
So they put food coloring into the beer, so it's like just green beer because they believe that it's a St. Patrick's Day tradition. So
yeah, they do it in Dublin. I mean, like they dye the canal green.
Yeah.
In like places like Boston and Dublin, they do it and shit. But like in St. Patrick's Day in Ireland, yeah, they have festivals and people get drunk and shit. But it's not like this like St. Patrick's Day party. It's more like a fucking old man in a pub being like, oh, drinking since 3 o'clock this morning.
So in addition to that, what the article also said is that some also argue, like, okay, there's a drink called the Irish Car Bomb.
Yeah, there's also, isn't there a drink called the? No, I'm not gonna say this, man. Go on anyway.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because like when I used to work in bars, like I would get these American guys coming in and be like, "Hey, can you get me, like a Bailey's and just an Irish whiskey and an Irish Car Bomb?" And then they would just so casually throw it out there, like, and your name's Paddy, right? It's like, yeah, sure, man. But then they didn't really tick so kindly when you would say something like, yeah, but do you also want another shot? We have another cocktail on the menu. It's called 9/11. They never found that nice. Yeah, but it's like fucked up because of course you can't really joke about that, but you can.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things never forget.
Yeah, man, of course that's fucked up, but no jokes are off limit. Like my theory is that you have to be able to joke about the dark shit in life and weird shit in order for you to actually be able to deal with it, man. It's like if you can't do that, then everybody's all censored and then you're just holding everything in and being silent all the time and being like, I can't say anything because I'm scared to offend anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I just got notification from a friend of mine that basically like our sound isn't working on Facebook.
Oh, bollocks.
Can you go check maybe to see if it's possible to get the sound working? Okay, anyway.
Okay, that was dramatic.
Wow. All right. Well, anyway, if you couldn't hear us before, Jesus, we are so sorry.
Yeah. Well,
so we managed to get it fixed now because this is the first time we're actually recording live in the
glass house.
In a glass house. So what we're doing in this case, we just got everything fixed again. I'm trying to share this to my page as well. Jesus,
I'll share it to my page too, shall I?
You shall.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we got it fixed. Awesome.
Share it.
Da, da, da.
Volume down.
Okay, anyway, so we are so sorry for the technical difficulties. It's the very first time that we're doing this, so we're just making
sure.
We are virgins.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Becky.
I feel like we just wasted the first half an hour.
Yeah, we kind of did, but now everything's fine again. So
I think that if we just like get like a when we post, if we do post the first video, it doesn't have any sound, so if we just get like a sign language interpreter.
It's just like
yeah.
Kind of, or with the anonymous mask on, you know?
Yeah, well, it's a podcast. We didn't say anything about there being volume on it. It's gonna be jungle sounds. Oh well. Anyway.
Okay, so we're on the topic of the St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick.
Okay, so apparently we can't. You guys didn't hear a fucking thing we said. Okay, so we got about half an hour.
Rewind.
Let's just do this from the very beginning. Anyway, my name is Jay.
My name is Matt.
So this is basically our podcast, and we managed to finally fix the sound error. Unfortunately, we had kind of a issue determining that.
There was a big fucking issue where it was basically not working.
So basically what happens is when we're actually going into the studio, we have to basically make sure that everything's fixed from the previous person. So once we finally get into the studio, the biggest issue that we have is we're trying to get everything configured, such as getting Spotify to work, getting all this other shit to work as well. So
just to clarify, everybody, when he says we, he means it's him. I'm basically my contribution because like he gets everything configured. Like I didn't know anything about this place. I just came in here and I saw some dust on the computer screen and I wrote the word help and I took some like pictures on Instagram. But that's my contribution.
So Matthew, for the listeners, because I'm trying to do something on the side right now and I am paying attention. What? So explain a little bit about yourself. So what else do you do aside from just crying yourself to sleep at night?
I'm a very lonely man. I often wear trench coats and I hang upside down from trees in the park and I expose myself. That's innuendo for I'm a musician and I make comedy videos and I make just overall weird stuff. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people cry and I like to do something in between that, like sort of like a purgatory. I'm a purgatory performer. What about yourself?
nothing, dude. I am a student at the university in Amsterdam.
Goddamn students.
Goddamn students don't do shit. All they do is
Hi,
party.
I'm cool. I'm a student. Come to my party.
Oh my god, like seriously, like if you come over to my house, we can have a party and like get super radly smashed.
You're a mature student now, though. You're like, yeah, you 21-year-olds, I ain't nothing like you.
No, but the thing is with us, we started doing this like about a year ago with the podcast and everything.
In the basement.
We started in the basement. So basically, the podcast that we usually do on SoundCloud, we do those in a literal basement. So it's not a glass studio like the ones you see here. So once we
fancy.
And the only reason why we started doing the podcast now here in the glass studio is because of the fact that we basically got kicked out of one in the basement because it's always
what.
So basically the story behind it is we didn't get kicked out, but because of the fact that most of the time these studios are booked by other students, that this was the only available one. So we're just like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to make the most out of it. And then last week I was talking to the guy who configurates all of this, and he was like, oh yeah, by the way, you guys can also do like the cameras and stuff like that. So
broadcast.
Therefore, what came to mind, I thought to myself, okay, you know what we can do? Maybe we can do like a live stream on Facebook and everything like that, get a little bit more going, because obviously with the SoundCloud, it's a different thing, because when you watch most of these podcasts, like Joe Rogan, for example, or anybody else, they have more of a visual aspect to it, which is more interesting, and it gets the viewers involved as well.
Yeah, you gotta have some weed as well on the show. He's just
Well,
basically
unfortunately, we can't have that here because otherwise.
Well, technically you could, but we didn't. But yeah, it'll probably make us really paranoid because we're being broadcasted. Well, not only live, but like, because I don't have to look at that. But I mean, on this big there's a big screen over there. If any of you can see on one of the cameras, there's a big massive screen, and what you're seeing now on Facebook is basically being broadcast to the fucking campus over there. So that's a bit intimidating. So I put the blinders on, and forget it all happened.
So basically, what we also do is, last week it was weird because there's a huge, like 14 screens outside of our glass studio here.
Yeah.
Which is really paranoid, because last week what happened is during the podcast, some lady, she came in the middle of our recording to just hand us out like these open day invitations. By the way, guys, you guys can do this and that.
It was like, what do you call those, like those things on YouTube at the moment? It's like basically it's like a meditative thing where you have like sounds, like crisp sounds, and people listen to it. I forget what the fuck you call it, but it's like a type of meditation, and people on YouTube are doing this kind of stuff. So she like they're making sounds against like the microphone. So she walked in to hand in paper, and there's a fucking sign up there that says like recording, do not enter. Yeah. Still, she comes in and she's like and then walks out, and then we're just left with like, what the fuck? What is this?
So again, on the topic of what we're on that you guys could not hear, which was kind of unfortunate, but basically, what is it? In a couple of days? In 2 days is St. Paddy's Day, right?
2 glorious days.
It's on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday, man.
So basically, in this case, what we're doing is we're going to a mask party tomorrow.
You make it sound like a fetish club, man.
Well, it's just like, okay.
I have no idea what it is, man. I have no idea what it is. But before the fucking thing went off the air, I was basically explaining. I'm going to have to explain this whole fucking thing again. But basically, about Julian here, like, there's a mask that we have in our house, and basically when Julian puts this mask on, it's the mask from V von Vendetta. V von Vendetta. Fucking sounding Dutch here. What is it? Well, I don't even know what it's called, but anyway, it's that mask. That's that anonymous mask, and you're walking around in Amsterdam last Friday after the podcast with completely dead face, like no fucking emotions, but you weren't saying anything, you weren't talking to me, so it was the most awkward long park walk. You just walked around the park and you were just so fucking dead inside. And people were just looking at you like, okay, but you weren't like screaming or anything, so it wasn't like this like underage people who were like, oh, I'm wearing masks. You were just dead serious. But then you bust some serious moves. You can fucking dance like a madman when you wear that mask, but only when the mask is on. Yeah,
and like we mentioned before, I'm a apparently I love Taylor Swift. Huge. Like, oh my God. Like T Swift, amazing. Amazing. She's my hero. I read all of her
And the
books.
song, anyway, fuck this. We're gonna have to fast forward through this shit because we talked about it anyway. But what was the song called again?
The song, it was called fuck, I forget. I just said it like 10 minutes ago.
He keeps saying that, but the reality is, he's like, oh, what is that song? What is that song? I have a tattoo on my arm.
It's on my left nipple.
Taylor, really tiny, really tiny. You have to get like a microscope.
I do. No, so basically in this case, what it is, it's
What it is what it is.
Taylor Swift. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. Yeah. So it's every time the song comes on, my inner white girl just says, grab a Starbucks
Yeah.
and then just dance to Taylor Swift
I thought
in
it was
the middle
just
of the line.
instructions for after you take a piss. Just shake it off, make sure it's nice and dry, and get out of there. Don't make eye contact.
Or when you're having sex.
Shake it. What do you mean, like your girlfriend or something? Like, just get off of me, you wild animal!
Get off me, shake it off.
You're like
shake
Taz.
her off.
Yeah, shake it off. What else, man? Was that the only one you were dancing to? Because you were just busting moves all over the place.
So I was dancing to that, and it was, what else?
I don't know, man. But you were telling me before about like how you, like.
Oh, that's what it was. Remember
Yeah.
Celine Dion? My heart goes my heart goes on. Yeah.
Remix.
So
Yeah.
we were where I was dancing in this case, and then I was going up like your stairs
Yeah.
and like busting out these moves like and just like hanging over, and it was wild, man.
All of this was like done on a very drunken live stream, which was very regrettable. I woke up the next day and I was like, delete everything, delete everything. I had to look for my phone. Like I just can't. I don't know about you, man, but like I'm not ashamed of the shit that I do when I drink, because I never do something like that's. I don't do something that I think is shameful where I'm like. Offending people or doing something nasty, but I just do shit where I can't handle it when I'm hungover, where I can't listen to the voice that I had the night before, because my voice is kind of like, hello, it's Matthew here, and the fucking, I don't know, man, there's something about it. It just I can't do it when I'm hungover. Maybe the day after I can kind of accept it, but everything got deleted.
Oh man,
but it was beautiful.
It was nice because we had a couple of nice jam sessions, and as you said before, like we got a lot of not a lot, but a couple of the feedback that we got. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, I remember somebody was sending hearts, so maybe there was like, I don't know who it was watching, but maybe there was like some lonely person just sitting there being like, yes.
I like these guys.
They were sending like a bunch of hearts, but I don't even know what we were doing, man. I was just jamming on the guitar and you were doing some kind of like beatboxing thing.
Yeah, so
freestyling.
So I think we ended up doing like even before that, we were just like on Instagram Live doing these videos, basically like these country songs, just rapping to it, and well, at least I was. And then
we all know country and rap go so well together
because they're crossover music genres.
Yeah. I love God.
And God is my hero.
I can't think of anything.
He don't save me. I done said I've been sipping down at the bottle for quite some time.
He done came down. He cured my indigestion. I've been shitting like a fucking like a fireman's hose for the last week because that Jesus, he saved my ass.
He done did that a couple times, but you know this is what it is.
Have you ever experienced a miracle in your life?
Have I ever experienced a miracle in my life?
Apart from me.
Oh, you, my friend, are a blessing. The way you look at me at night, it's just oh my Lord.
No, I've actually trained my eyes so that my pupils will focus on. I forget what you call that. I know like boss-eyed, but I forget what the opposite is. Fuck it.
Boss-eyed, cross-eyed.
No, but the official term is probably. I'm probably completely wrong with this, but I think like when you're a kid, you say cock-eyed, but that's like not acceptable anymore. No. Boss-eyed was.
How is that not acceptable anymore?
Because your eyes aren't cocks. That's why.
What do you mean? My eyes aren't chickens anymore, or what's going on?
I mean, peanut. No, I don't know, man. But you can't get away with that shit. I don't even know why we're talking about this, but I feel like it's a very valuable life lesson here.
Yeah. So don't use cocks.
Don't stick a cock in your eye.
Otherwise you'll get cockeyed.
I'm pretty sure that's a fucking like a
maybe that's where it came from. You know, somebody just got cock in their eye.
I never wanted to be. I'm not saying that this happened in my life. I promise, but I never wanted to be part of these fucking people. Like you know the way in the States they do this whole like hazing thing, or what like for like, college or shit, or if you fall asleep and you're drunk and then somebody like my brother once, if you're watching, my brother once fucking I passed out on Christmas Day. I think I was about 18 or something. My eyebrows are thick as shit. It's like a caterpillar. It's like 3 eyebrows stacked on top of each other. Thank you, mother. And I actually do have her eyebrows, but basically, when I passed out, he shaved a chunk through my eyebrow, like an actual solid square. I looked like there was one. I don't know if you ever knew the band Boyzone, the boy band Boyzone. Yeah. There was the one guy. I think he was called like Stave-O! No, he's not I don't know what the fuck, Mikey or something, but he had like a shaved thing through the eyebrow, and that was kind of cool. Yeah. But for me, it wasn't even cool. It was just a fucking chunk. And I had to go borrow my younger sister's makeup, whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. What I pretend I don't know what it is, but makeup pencil thing, and then draw on an eyebrow. It was so fucking obvious, but thank you, brother.
Well, anyway, like, I didn't have a brother who did that. But I did it myself. So basically,
why would you admit this?
I was young, okay. I discovered my dad's razor at this time, and I think it was like 11 or 12 years old, and this was like the first couple of years I was in the United States. So me thinking it was a great idea to just do that. Yeah. I'm like, okay, you know what? Shave one eyebrow off.
The whole eyebrow.
I shaved the entire eyebrow off.
Really?
Just one.
What did you do? What did you do for a week? Like, you're just
I just went to school like that.
people look at you and you're like, yeah, what? So what?
Well, yeah, that's like, you know those like what is it? Those mushroom haircuts that everybody had?
Oh, like a bowl cut?
Yeah, like those. So we call it mushroom cuts in the States.
Mushrooms.
Yeah. And so we ended up doing that, and then I shaved an entire eyebrow off. Yeah. And just went to school like that, and it was weird because like the year before I cut my own hair, but it was like I cut my own hair. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
I was a lonely child.
I didn't have many friends back then. All right.
Nah, I did shit like, man. I remember I used to style my hair with gel. Like, I didn't understand it, and you know those like Euro shopper or like €1 or whatever. There's like you go into a cheap shop and you get gel, and it's a bucket of fucking like a barrel of gel or some hair gel. So I'd just be like fisting this fucking thing and then just splatting it all over my fucking head. And then I had curtains. I had decided that my life was just a complete failure and I was just going to give up, and I had curtains. What the fuck was I thinking? But I remember once my hair gel ran out and I only had, like Axa or Lynx, like shower gel.
Oh, yeah.
So I only had shower gel left, so I was like, oh, it's the same thing. So I fucking applied that shit all over my hair, and it started to rain, and I could see like the foam and the froth. Yeah. And that was in primary school. That was before I even went to secondary school, so thankfully I caught on a bit.
Nah, but also what we were discussing earlier was just like the St. Paddy's Day traditions, like what everybody does in the United States, and just getting the perspective from Matthew here, because he is, again, from Ireland. And for those of you who have watched in or like tuned in or have watched this live video stream of ours with the voice this time around, or even before that, where we didn't talk anything at all, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
It was just mime. It was just a weird mime act. There was nothing really fucking happening. We're just like, yeah. But what were you gonna say? You were gonna question me on the St. Patrick's.
So basically, what I just wanted to get your. So we had three things already that we mentioned about the St. Patrick's Day, or 4. So the first one was the pronunciation of St. Patrick's Day. So in the United States, what they say is St. Patty's Day with a double T instead of a double D. The second is what they do as a tradition in the United States and also in Canada. They dress up in all green, like from head to toe. And then third, they do those Irish car bombs when they go to the bars, and that's like an actual drink with whiskey and then also Bailey's. Yeah. And the last one was the green beer. Yeah. So, and
like I said, diarrhea waiting to happen.
And there's one other thing. When people in the United States or in Canada, what they do is when they go to these St. Patrick's Day celebrations or whatever, they try to act as Irish as they possibly can.
Potato.
So what? No.
False accents all over the place.
Yeah. So what they usually do, the most common phrase that is used is, "Oh, top of the morning here."
Specifically with the
yeah. Yeah. Oh,
nobody in Ireland. I've never heard anybody in Ireland ever say that, apart from just to refer to that sort of stereotype as a laugh.
So that's also what I heard from other people from Ireland as well. Like when you say that particular phrase, nobody in Ireland says that. Nobody says top of the morning to you, top of the afternoon to you,
top of the morning to you. But also, like I touched upon this briefly before about this whole thing. Like when I used to work in bars here in the Netherlands, these Dutch people would come in and or American students, and they'd be like, "Hey, can we get 5 of those? Can you draw some shamrocks on top of our Guinnesses? And can you give me some Irish whiskey? And can I get an Irish car bomb?" And at first I didn't know what the fuck it was. I had to ask a colleague. I was like, "What the fuck is he on about? The Irish car bomb? That's so insensitive." So I asked my colleague, and then he's like, "Yeah, so basically it's like." What was it again? It was like Bailey's and
it's a shot of Bailey's and a shot of whiskey, and you basically put it in a beer.
you put the shot into the fucking No, there's half a fucking pint of Guinness or stout or whatever. Yeah. Then like whiskey mixed with Bailey's in the shot glass, and then you drop it in, and then you fucking pin it.
Yeah.
But that's fucking disgusting. You should call that Irish abortion or something. But yeah, like
Catholic.
Like I said, this is a bit of a touchy subject, but the Americans didn't really appreciate it when we were asking them if you wanted a cocktail called the 9/11. I was like,
What other cocktails you got in here? Well, I kissed my cousin.
Yeah.
I fucked my dog.
Holocaust. It's like just the worst possible things you can think of.
What would you make to drink like the Holocaust? Oh, well,
the worst marketer and the worst marketing that you could ever fucking possibly have. Like, come on down and try our new Holocaust beer. It's like, Jesus Christ. Shut down within a couple of minutes.
Would you like to try the new 9/11? What? No. You have the 7-Eleven though. Just an Indian guy pouring you a drink.
Yeah, but what else could you think of, like a really terrible name for a shot? Have you heard actually? There's cocksucker or something like
there is a drink that I tried in the United States when I don't know why, but most of these stories I have are just being drunk as shit. Apparently, I have a drinking problem.
That's where you get your inspiration from.
That's where I get my inspiration for anything.
Yeah.
That's how I got my inspiration from.
That's why I run from my inspiration, to be honest. That's why I run from the demons.
So there is a drink in the United States, like, okay, so you in Ireland, you have the TGI Fridays, right?
What is that, a franchise or something?
Yeah, so it's like a franchise
I've
restaurant.
heard of it, yeah. I've heard, I don't know if we fucking have it, but I think I've heard of it from the television.
Okay, so
probably they do,
they have these now, and they also have one in Utrecht now. Like, it's TGI Fridays. They are trying to implement all these new American restaurants here in the Netherlands as well. But I ended up going on a date to this TGI Fridays. Like, we had some food, and then we just ended up going to the bar. So one of my friends, or the day I was on, I go in there, and then the bartender's like, "Oh yeah, what do you guys want?" And we're like, "Oh, I don't know, like, what would you recommend?" And he's like, "Oh, the pink pussy."
The pink pussy.
Or no, sorry.
Did he get some pleasure out of saying that to you as well?
It was called the wet pussy.
The wet pussy.
So this was an actual drink that they had. Because me, and you know how awkward that was? It was a first date. So it was the very first day I was on with this girl. We go out to the bar. We were getting a couple of drinks, and then we're like, "Oh yeah, well, what do you recommend?" And he's like, "The pink pussy." I'm like, whoa.
No, wet pussy or pink pussy? There's a large difference here.
He said the wet pussy.
So he's just basically, when you say this, man, I just imagine that instead of like pouring it into a shot glass, he's literally got like one of those like window sprayers with the drink inside of it, and he goes like, "Now close your eyes," and sort of slaps you with a wet cloth, and he's like, meow.
So basically, it was a really awkward moment when he said, "Oh yeah, we have the wet pussy as a drink." I'm like, I look at my date and I'm like, this is like a really weird moment.
He could see the future. Ooh, ah.
He did.
You filthy fucker.
He determined the future.
And then the date never really went anywhere.
No. It kind of went somewhere, and it went a long way. Let's just say that I got a home run. Okay, so basically what it is also in the United States, they have this terminology for when you get to a certain like stage in a relationship or with a girl or whatever. You have first base, you have second base, you have third base, you have a home run, basically.
We have in Ireland, we basically have we have like when you're kissing somebody, you can call it. Depends if you're from the south. A lot of people say shifting. If you're from the north, we say going with. So will you go with me?
Yeah.
We went with, and then after that, the stages go from like, did you kiss? Did you have sex? And then after that, it's like, are you comfortable farting around each other? Are bodily fluids acceptable? Kamasutra, whatever. Like,
Oh yeah, speaking of Kamasutra, you got a new book, didn't you?
I got that book. Yeah, I got that book, man. Like, that was weird. That was strange. That was my birthday, and then we were just like fucking. What was it? We got like 3 books. We were in an Irish pub, obviously. Can't avoid it, but it was my birthday anyway, and we were just getting pissed. And we got 3 books. One was, what was it? One was The History of Chocolate.
Yeah.
The other one was the Kama Sutra, and the other one was
Yeah.
like dark magic or something.
Yeah, so I picked out the Kamasutra book
horror
for
stories.
you.
It was horror stories. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I picked out the horror stories one and the
Yeah.
Kamasutra for you.
I just kind of want to rip a couple of pages out of each and just sort of like put them together and make some kind of masterpiece. And he slit her throat with the fancy sex maneuver. Like, I don't know, man. But
He slit her throat with his penis.
were you also really fucking disappointed? Like, I mean, at the risk of sounding like a child, because basically nowadays with social media, like you don't really read. Like, I don't read as much as I should.
Yeah.
So like, you kind of like go for the pictures. I'll go for the pictures. Like, so when I opened up that Kama Sutra book, I wanted to see like really obscure, strange sex poses. Instead, I get fucking words, and I'm like, oh, I ain't gonna read this. Fuck, it's like the Bible.
I ain't gonna read this shit.
Have you ever read the Bible?
I read parts of it.
Were the pages sticky?
No, they weren't, unfortunately. I'm saying that like it's a bad thing, but no. So I actually went to a Christian school for a time being in the United States.
How Christian? Are we talking like Christian, but that you can get away with being sort of non-Christian, but they're kind of like, yeah, the God shit's going on? Or is it like, you must repent, or like really Jesus-like?
So, as far as I remember, because this is like, what is it? Fuck. 28. It was like 16, 17 years ago that I went to Christian school.
1604, we sail out to sea. Out
In 1803, we sailed
Sorry.
out to sea. So, the weird thing is, okay, here's the backstory behind it kind of quickly. I went to the United States like with my parents when I was young.
Yeah.
I was not fluent enough in English to go to a normal school or the one next to my house, which apparently they were really highly seen as, like, if you want to go further, because in the United States, like, if you go to a very good elementary school, then you get into a good middle school and then a good high school, basically. The way that it worked is my English was not sufficient enough to go to that one, so I had to go to the other one across town, which was like a 40-minute bus ride there. Yeah. And basically after that, they moved me to another school. So my mom and dad, they wanted me to go to a Christian school for whatever reason, even though both were Catholic. All right.
Okay.
So what I ended up doing is my English at that time wasn't really that great. Like,
Can we give,
okay,
like maybe a kind of a small demonstration about how that might have sounded?
I have no idea. Like, it was so long. Yeah.
Like, was it like were you able to string sentences together, or was it literally
like
straight out of Germany?
at that point I was able to string sentences together because like I was already at the other school for like about a year and like a year and a half approximately. So I had a ground basis of like English and whatnot. And so I was there for about a year, and then I was moved to the Christian school. And then basically how it was, you go to school every single morning, but before you actually go into class, you have to go to church. So you do the morning, I can't remember what it is.
No,
You do the morning service, basically. Like, everybody, you do your Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Then you go do your morning prayer.
Yeah.
And then they also say, okay, at the beginning, every Monday morning, they give you a text of the Bible, like whatever.
Just a random quote from a.
So basically, I can't remember exactly how it was. Basically, in the Bible, what they ended up doing, they took out like one page for the entire week. And that particular, I think, verse is what you call it. It's been so long, I don't remember.
Verse,
yeah, so basically, you had a passage that you have that you get Monday morning. And then you're supposed to memorize it by Friday, because on that Friday...
back and forth, just fucking trying to brainwash yourself this shit.
So by the end of that Friday, you have to have it memorized by heart.
Jesus
because you
Christ,
have
that's hardcore, man.
You have it... you have an exam or like a test on that every single week on a certain passage. And that's basically, you know how many people say, oh yeah, I can recite this particular verse from like John 3:16 or whatever. I can recite it down to a science. Yeah. That's basically how they do it. Like, they give you a passage at the beginning of the week, and then by the end of the week, you can recite it by heart. So basically, that's my Christian school experience with
get
that.
them while they're young kind of mentality, like basically just like bombard them.
Yeah.
I went to Catholic schools always, like even in primary school we had to learn Irish.
Yeah.
But we mainly just had to learn the Irish language through prayers.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to really speak anything in Irish, maybe a couple of sentences, but everything was all like like just reciting these prayers. I don't even fucking remember any of them, man, but like that was basically it. And then in secondary school, basically if you ever spoke badly about it, if you ever like questioned, like you were doing these traditional things, like sometimes like once a year you would get out of like church, or sorry, get out of school and then go to church, and it would be like Ash Wednesday. So in the north of Ireland we have this whole divide between the Catholics and the Protestants. So basically that one day of the year you come out of school and you go to the church, and then they put the black ashes on, like they draw like a cross on your head, and we were always just like wiping it off straight away after, because that's like after that, man, like if you walk around in the town after, everybody who's not a Catholic is looking at you like, look at you, God boy. So we definitely wiped that off. And then anytime I would ever question anything to do with like religion, they would basically just be like, get out of the class. Get out of the class, don't question the rule of the land.
Well, it's also how it was with me. Like obviously I was never raised to be in a religious like my mom and dad were like, they're both Catholic. My brother is as well. And then basically what happened was me and my sister, we were never baptized. So we had the opportunity to choose what religion we wanted and So we never really chose towards anything. So in that particular case, like we were both at Christian school. Like both me and my sister were at Christian school. Like we really enjoyed it, because it wasn't like strict, but it was kind of nice to be in that same unity. And it's not, I'm not saying
it's
like,
also nice to be it's also nice to be reassured. To be honest, like when I used to believe in God, I really liked the whole thing. Like my dad, when I was really young, would come up and like read these little prayer books, and I would say my prayers, and I felt like reassured. And there was even one point in my life where because they tell us that like God is all around us. I remember being like 8 years old and then sort of fighting the air, like punching the air, being like, oh God, can you feel this? So like there is that like really nice feeling of like sort of, it's like a wholesome dream or something where you kind of feel like reassured. So I can understand why you liked it.
I mean it was nice to be in that particular setting, but it's also, I wouldn't force even like my future kids or whatever to choose anything. Like I probably do it the same way that my mom did, is like just give them the freedom to choose whatever they want. Because I don't want to force my kid to go to church. I don't want to have to force them to do anything unless they want to.
I would think, wouldn't it be like, it would be, I mean, I would be the same, but you could also just like cover their eyes, wait till they're about 5, cover their eyes, like piñata. I'll get like one of those piñatas.
Just whack them?
Pick a religion, faster, you little shit. You're smaller than me. No.
It's just like you have 5 years to pick a religion.
Put like a bin bag hanging from a tree.
Dude, like, God forbid you have children. I swear to God.
Right hand to God. No,
right hand to God. Jesus Christ.
Put a bin bag full of fucking books like the Quran, the Bible, what other like what's that Scientologist book? The whatever the fuck. There's many. They're all shit. I mean, sorry.
I know what you're talking about. Like, it was weird because like where I lived, the Church of Scientology, it was literally right next to my building.
There's a big fucking Church of Scientology just over there. Have you seen it?
Is it?
Yeah, by the U-Bows to that. It's creepy as fuck because there's never anybody in it. But I think that they just buy the property.
I think Tom Cruise might be there.
Tom Cruise, you little tiny man. But anyway, so you get the bin bag full of all the like religious like documents, and the child has to beat the shit out of it with a baseball bat covered in barbed wire, and whatever religious book falls out and hits them on the head. That's their religion.
Like the first book that they open, like that's probably like what they're gonna be like. Oh yeah, this looks interesting. And it's like, you're reading it backwards. I know, it's the Quran. Oh, okay, so you chose your religion. Awesome.
The Quran.
So anyway, it's speaking of that, it's kind of sad what the fuck happened in New Zealand today.
Yeah, that's fucking intense, man.
It's and that's the thing as well. Like what I had a discussion with with a couple of other friends of mine is the fact that if a white person does an act like that, and there's approximately 50 people who died in a mosque, like in 2 separate mosques and shootings.
Yeah, definitely.
And the thing is with that, if it's a white person, and I'm not kidding, it's always seen as like they're gonna have a mental health problem that's gonna be disclosed within the news or whatever.
They'll never call them a terrorist.
No, never.
They would just literally go for the mental health thing, which
Yeah.
I think arguably anybody who's willing to fucking take a life, even if it is like, even if somebody has had something like say for example something really traumatic's happened to you in your life, like somebody's come to your village and bombed the shit out of people, and you've seen death from a very young age. You're not mentally stable because you've been in this traumatic situation. So imagine that happened. So you could equally argue that even like these people who are like kind of like terrorist type people, they are not in their right mind because they're totally out of it. I'm not saying that they can't be held accountable.
Yeah.
But why is it that you just like the white people will never be called like extremists or something?
Yeah. Well, anyway, just to wrap up on that, and like it sucks that we have to, but unfortunately we have some.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up the podcast because we ran out of time now. The studio is going to close here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And before we kicked out, we just want to have a proper closing on this. So again, thank you very much for everybody who tuned in to listen to us. Next week, it'll be much better because now we have everything figured out. But just for myself, you guys, seriously, whoever tuned in, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. And this has been a pleasure.
Yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. Next week, we'll have it all up and running, so yes, let's do it.
Absolutely. So, just on top of that, let's close this shit out.
With some music.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.